morning or good afternoon. My name is Colleen Ruths. I'm with the Shikellamy School District where I teach physics and computer science. But my real passion is helping you to develop your spatial skills. So this is great for kids of all levels, and we're going to learn why spatial is special, especially for STEM, and what you can do to help yourself get better with spatial skills. So if you look here, this is an example of being able to think spatially. So right here we have if you imagine a flat piece of paper, and if you were to fold that, which of these would you be able to make? Or could you make more than these? So we will come back and see if you can try to figure that out a little bit later. So spatial skills are really special though with science. Usually what happens is people don't even know what spatial skills are. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is what are spatial skills. Then I'm going to have you do a couple little spatial tests to see how your spatial skills are. And then we're going to play some spatial games until our time is out to help you improve them. So what are spatial skills? Well, it's the way we live in this three-dimensional world. So giving directions, using a map, thinking about the way things are put in your refrigerator, packing a suitcase, packing a car. All of those things have to do with spatial skills. But it's really important also in the sciences. So some people say, oh, I don't have very good spatial skills. I don't have good directions. And that means that you think that spatial skills has to do with your intelligence level. But other people say, I can learn to grow my spatial skills. And we are learning that spatial skills are skills. They're things that you learn. So let's get learning some spatial skills. So the way that you think spatially has to do with your mind and the way you think. So your first step is to make an image in your mind. So I want you to close your eyes and I want you to think of a pyramid. Okay? So think about that pyramid. I want you to imagine it and hold it in your mind. Sometimes closing your eyes helps. Sometimes just kind of staring off into space helps. And then think about the patterns. So, and rotate that in your mind. So what do you see? What do you notice in your mind with that pyramid? So here, I'll show you one that I have here. So here's a pyramid, and notice that it is full of triangles, right? And I can keep on rotating it. All I see are triangles until I turn it upside down, and then it's a square. So can you rotate that in your mind? That is one kind of spatial skill. That's called mental rotation. It's really important with science, though, because science and math and technology and engineering, because the world is three-dimensional. So you need to have the content knowledge, you need to have spatial skills, and then you need time to practice these things. So let's talk about a couple of things, and you can go online and pick up some of these tests to see if you can try them out. So the first one is paper folding. So here I'm going to show you an example of one. Okay, so this is a paper folding test, and when you look at it, do you see this box? Can you fold that in your mind? And what of these different boxes can be made? So take a couple of seconds and look at that. All right, so number 2, you can make that one because it's like this. It's right next to the green and the yellow. All right, now if you're colorblind, you're gonna have a hard time with them. Number 3, you can also do. But number 5 looks just like number 2, but these two are switched around. And this one is not possible. Number 4 is not possible because there isn't even a yellow triangle. Number 7 is also not possible because there isn't a blue triangle. And number 6 is not possible because the red triangle does not touch a green square. Okay, so that is called folding spatial skill. So mental rotation is the next one, and I've got an example here. Okay, so mental rotation is, do you see these blocks? Are this one a copy of that block? Is it the same thing? Could this block be a rotation of that block? And I've got some Legos here, and you can play with these at your home as well. So which of these match and which of these do not match? Give you a couple seconds to look at them. Okay, so again, being able to mentally rotate these. So those two do not match, right? Because one is up and one is down. This one does not match. So those two are mirror images. So again, it's mixing things around to find the ones that match. So those don't match either. So where are the matching? Can you find the ones that match? There they are, those two right there. All right, so that's a fun game to play with mental rotation, right? And the last one is perspective taking. And so perspective taking is if I were looking down, but this is what it looked like from the side, where am I standing to make these different, if they were, make these different shapes? What do you see? And I kind of have one here, and you can build your own too, right? So here I have a Lego that I built, three-dimensional Lego. And what does it look like for this guy sitting right there? All right, so you can see that way. But what if I moved him over here? What does it look like to him now? So think about it, and then let me show you. Okay, so that is the kinds of spatial skills. And why is it important in STEM? Well, in STEM, you've got molecules that are in 3 dimensions. You have plate tectonics that's in 3 dimensions. You have forces and building things and bridges, 3-dimensional, and engineering. You have to be able to arrange things spatially when you're doing math. And nothing beats science, right? For earth science and space science for spatial thinking, plus geometry, and even using computer science. All right, so what if you say right now, what if you're a mom or a grandma that says, I can't do spatial skills? Well, the truth is that you can grow these skills no matter how old you are and where you are. So it's never too late. All right, so let's play a couple of spatial skills. So the first thing is let's just do some spatial language. It's really important to be able to talk about spatial skills. So you little kids, this one's a good one for you. So let's talk about something that you have here in your house, right? So this is a pair of scissors. So what shapes do you see in these scissors? Can you see any shapes? So I see a circle right here, and I see another circle right here, and I see a bigger circle. Now this one isn't really a circle, right? And if I open them up, I can see a triangle. So having names for shapes, but also having names for dimensions like far away or close by, right? And the features of things. So like a feature of a house, right? So it has how many floors? 1, 2, 3 floors. And it has tall chimneys and it's really wide. So having things about features and then relations, right? So this is far from me and now it's close to me. So having those spatial languages is really important. Of course, using gestures, right? So if I say, what does that mean? That means stop. Where's my hand right now? It is over my head. What are my hands doing now? All right, they are going over top each other or rolling. All right, so gestures help a lot. And we use gestures quite a bit when it even comes to high school physics. We use a hand gesture like this or we also use a right-hand rule like this. So being able to make gestures and think with your hands in 3 dimensions is real happy. Of course, counting on your fingers is also useful. All right, here is a really good test for you. So I have a bottle of water like this. And my question to you is, where does the water lie if I turn it sideways like this? Or if I turn it upside down? Or if I turn this on its side? So look at the pictures, right? So first off, when it's laying on its side, what way does the water look? Can you draw it in? All right, here we go, sideways. Can you see that? Water goes, there you go, flat like that. All right, what happens when I turn it like this? What does my water do? This is oftentimes where people make mistakes. Oh, is that what you thought it was gonna do? How about this way? Now what's gonna happen to the water? Okay, so that's a really fun game to play. So all you need is a bottle with water in it, an empty bottle, and you turn the direction, and then people have to guess which way it looks. Okay? Okay, now we're gonna play a matching game. So I need you to get a paper and a pencil, because I'm gonna explain something for you to draw, and then you're gonna see if you can draw it for me. So we'll see how good I explain to you, and then you can play that game with someone else. All right, everybody got your paper and pencil? Okay, so we're gonna start with a square. I want you to draw a square. I want the square to be flat with the paper. I don't want it to be, so here I am gesturing, right? I don't want it to be sideways, or like I don't want it to be like a diamond. I want it flat, like with the bottom of the paper. All right, then inside the square, I want you to draw a star, but I don't want you to draw a star that goes back and forth like that. Again, see me gesturing. I want a star that is like this. So in the center, draw your star. The top of the star should be pointing up. And then on top of the square, right above the point of your star, I want you to draw a circle. Now, I probably didn't do very good because I just thought of something I didn't tell you. I didn't tell you that I want the star to be medium sized. I don't want to take up the whole square or not. But anyway, so let's see what you did. There you go. How'd you do? How did I do? All right, are you ready to play this with someone else? So hopefully there's someone in the room. And what I want you to do is one of you is going to look away from the TV now, and the other one is going to explain the drawing. Okay? So is somebody hiding their eyes or not listening? Not looking? Are you ready? All right, I'm going to show another shape that I want you to explain to someone else to draw. All right, here we go. All right, how's it going? Does anybody need more time? Okay, well, go ahead and show them how you did. So how'd you do it explaining this drawing to the other? Take a look and see. So that's a really fun game because you're using your spatial language and you're using your mind so that it's good for both people, the person doing the talking and the person doing the listening and the drawing. So really good way to build your spatial skills. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to talk about is building with a story. So these are always fun. So I would like to build, using these things, I want to build a garage for my star. So can you help me build a garage for the star? So how would you do that? Okay, so, well, I guess we can start by putting some walls up, right? But I don't know, maybe my star is gonna have to hide behind it this way. And I guess, I don't know. Very unusual way to build a garage. But there we go, my star is now hiding. So you need to have a story for it. You need to have I need to make sure that the star is not in the rain. So that my garage is not so good if it doesn't have, without rain, right? So you need to think about these sort of things and make a story for the star that needs the garage. And of course you can do these with Legos and but then look at it from all sides, right? So look at this from every which way. See how unusual and strange I have made my structure. So using storytelling is a really great way to explain what you see and talk in spatial languages. Okay, so let me put this away. And the next thing I want to talk about are teragrams. So if you've ever seen a teragram, they're like this. Okay, so you can find all kinds of these online and you just pull them out, okay? And then you cut them out and you can make different shapes with these. So for example, let's try to make a duck or a swan. So again, you can find these online. There we go. So I want you to help me to see if you can find the different shapes that go to make this duck. Okay, so first, let's take one of the big triangles. We can put it there. And there's the other big triangle. That's good. And then our square is going to go like this, but it's going to be like a diamond. And then we're going to take two squares and put them together in a trapezoid. And then we've got our big trapezoid here, finally. And our, there. Teragrams are really fun to play with. And there's all sorts of creative ways, and students can make them in all kinds of different shapes. And of course, the real trick then is to do the more advanced ones. So can you make this one? What do you think? I think that's going to be a harder one to do, right? I'm not actually sure that mine will fit on this one. So this might be, you know, they might have to make that shape, but in a larger size. So go look online for all sorts of teragrams and practice these. And even you older kids can do these because these are really good ways to think about things spatially. Of course, reading maps is a fantastic way to think spatially. And not only maps, but if you have a globe, my goodness, that is like the best, because a globe can help you think about the way the world works and what you see one way versus another way. So looking at the globe, right? So here's like China, we know where that is, but look how far away they are. But are they exactly on the other side? They actually aren't, right? They are, it depends where you're at, right? So here we are in Pennsylvania. So China isn't really directly across from us. It's more like, well, India or the Indian Sea, right? But then who's at the same level as us? And those are fun to do too. So, so there are places in China that are at the same level as us. And Spain is at the same level of us, right? Where we are here in Pennsylvania. Okay. So it's fun to see what other countries go through us. Oh, sorry, France. All right, so take a look at a globe and talk about the different places on there. And even a flat map like the one I have on the screen is a good way to look at that. And that one has a whole bunch of plate tectonics on it and volcanoes. This is a really good site to go to. Of course, reading spatially challenging books is always good. Besides your math book, there are all sorts of children's books that are a fantastic way to do this. Okay, now don't tell your mom and dad, or you can use this as an argument, but video games that are spatial are also really helpful to help you think spatially. So things like Tetris or Marble Madness actually help students think spatially, and it's a really good use of your time. And of course, making arts and crafts and origami and music and cooking, all of those things help students think spatially. Spatial skills are really important for STEM success, and you can build your spatial skills and improve ways with a lot of practice. So in this time when you're stuck here in your house, there are so many things that you can do to improve your spatial skills. Look online, and but start also speaking spatially with each other. Okay, so I'll leave with one last spatial game here. And again, we'll go back to the house. So this house is an English manor house that was, that's here in Northumberland, and it is the Joseph Priestley house. And so what I want you to do is look at it from all sides. And what do you see that's the same and what's the different? And can you imagine what it would look like if you were standing here looking out the window? What would you see, right? What would you see if you were standing here looking out this window? All right. Or what would you see if you were standing here on this end? So thinking spatially has to do with all sorts of things. Okay, so what did we learn today? We learned that spatial skills are really important